Well, this is my little spot. It's called Thornwell. My geese here. Some are Emdens and some are Toulouse. Toulouse, the brown ones are Toulouse, and the white ones, at least they were white, are Emdens. Right, I'm just going to proceed to my little chair. Well, it's a lovely spring morning, and we're down at my little farm, which is called Thornwell. My name's Muir, and we've been on this farm for some amount of years. So there's a lot of heritage here, a lot of old bits and bobs. There's an old milk float up there, sat in the middle of that orchard, which was used to transport milk round Ettlesfield village. But it's on its last legs now. In fact, it's past its last legs, but there's a lot of memories in that old vehicle. Right. Now, what I'm here for today is to tell you about some little films that we're going to make between us. The films about Victorian, some are Victorian times, some are Georgian times, some are 1500s and 1600s. I've got a little list here which I shall refer to because it's all part of the job. Right. Here we go. Shut up, you lot. Go down that pond and have a float round. Right, here we are. The first film will be dealing with the cycling area of about circa 1900. I'm going to be talking about the penny farthing, which only lasted for about 20 years. It started about 1880 and finished about 1900, 1910, something like that. Which I shall have an example, and I shall be showing you. I may show you how to ride it, but then again I may not. The Victorian chimney sweep. Now, people still have fires, they still have the chimneys swept, but nobody uses the appliances, for want of a better word, than the Victorians did. The Victorians used chimney sweep brushes to get up what would consider to be a standard chimney, but the bigger chimneys such as Wentworth Woodhouse up there, which has got, wow, God knows how many chimneys. Anyway, the other things were they connected a goose up, and they sent a goose up the chimney, which would flap and bring all the soot down. And the other thing, of course, was a little child. They'd send a little boy up, and he'd have to climb up the chimney and brush it as he went. And if he didn't go up fast enough, they'd get a piece of paper, light it, and give him a bit of a burn to help him to go a bit faster. So that's a Victorian chimney sweep. The other topic I'm going to touch on is the town crier. Now, prior to media, the only way to get news was either by hearsay, by gossiping over the fence, or by a town crier being present in the town or the village or wherever. He would come with all the relevant news and read it on a daily basis or probably a weekly basis, depending on how big the town was. So I shall dress as the town crier and I shall do a little bit of crying. But I'm not going to bring my hanky, so the crying will be more suitable. Right, the other one I'm going to do is I'm going to do Robin Hood. Now, Robin Hood was a character. He was a Yorkshire character, and he lived in about and round and about this area, lived in the woods, and he was always on the run from sheriff, as we all know. So I'm going to dress in my period costume with my long bow, and I may do a little bit of target practice just to give it a bit of authenticity, and we'll see how we go from there. Now, my next one I shall be doing is I'm going to be dressing up as Earl Fitzwilliam, one of the Earl Fitzwilliams, one of the early Earl Fitzwilliams. I'm not quite decided who it's going to be yet, but it will be around 1750, and I shall be dressing as Earl Fitzwilliam, and I shall hopefully be wandering about. I'm not going to be saying much because I can't quite decide what I ought to be saying at this point in time, but I may decide on something. But I shall be wandering about in the locality, or a hand-picked place which depicts the period. The other little story I'm going to narrate is about an old tradition, an old game which has literally almost been forgotten about now, and they call it Muir and Spell. Now, Muir and Spell is a bit, well, it's a funny little thing. Unfortunately, I haven't got any of the equipment here, but we'll see what we can come up with in the due course. It'll be a little cast iron affair with a little spring on a little trellis, and it has a little cup on the end. And what we do with the little cup is we put a potty, which is a little pot bowl, which could have been made by Rockingham Pottery at the end of the day when they've got a bit of pot left and a bit of glaze. And you'd put these one in the frame, and you'd have something like a golf stick, but with it, instead of having a golf end on it, it would have like a wooden block, possibly made out of some hardwood like hickory or beech or willow or something like that. Probably willow would have been a good one because it wouldn't shatter. And you'd stand to the item, you'd hit the little spring, that little ball would go up in air, and you'd wallop it down the field. Now, we're lucky to be in Yorkshire to have a Yorkshire champion, a guy named Crawshaw, about 1890, he was local champion. This would be carried out probably right in the centre of the village, probably outside pub, and it would be on the top of a hill, and this potty would be walloped down the hill, and the furthest it could be knocked was the idea. So that's Muir and Spell. So there we are.